when I first moved to my house in Barneveld, I was doing some work on it. I came down to your hardware store in the middle of town, and I got a 5-gallon bucket of joint compound. And I didn't have the $5 that it cost for the bucket, so I said, "Here, will you take a credit card?" And you said, "Oh well, we don't want to do that because the credit card companies get some of that money. So why don't you just take the bucket and come back later on when you have the money?" Do you have any stories like that of people when you moved into Barneveld that you remember?
Well, everybody was so good to us. Of course, moving into that old abandoned church, they wondered what kind of goofy people they were. But everybody's good. We'd go down to the grocery store, we could charge our groceries. We'd go to the hardware store, have a charge account, go to the gas station, George Roberts, have a hard charge there, so you go around town, you didn't even need money. And then when you had money, you settled up with them. Everybody worked like that. Many people were always good to us, and because we were the odd ones in town, I think that we got to know people. But then from my childhood, I used to hang around that hardware store, and I always liked it. And I was doing plumbing and heating work around Barneveld. I used to go in the store a lot, and I still have a half-inch drill that I bought there. And I would kid Paul Barker, he wanted to sell it, and I'd say, "Paul, you got somebody looking for it?" And he'd, no, Bill, somebody's here, but then one day I walked in there, and he said to me, "Bill, I think I have somebody interested in the store." So then I got thinking, gee, I want that place. And went to my brother-in-law, John Durant, he co-signed with me, we bought the business. Then later on I bought his share out. But people were always good to us in Barneveld. I hate leaving here, but that big house is a little bit too big for 2 people. We didn't need 5 bedrooms anymore. We've settled in a nice little home in Poland, only 7 miles away. We still have our Barneveld address. They come to Barneveld to pick up my mail, and they see me getting out of my car. Sometimes they bring the mail out to me. They're very, very nice people.
I think if you have people do things for you, then you pass it on later. Like one of my favorite stories to tell people about village life is that time I was working on my plumbing, and I was working pretty hard. I kept coming into this was when you were in the barn on Route 12. Kept coming in the hardware store. I'd get this and that, and you were going away for the weekend, and you knew I was going to need to be coming in for things, and you just gave me the key to the hardware store, and you said we'd settle up later. And I use that story because nowadays with the big box stores, I'm thinking, when does that ever happen? So that really is just like the greatest thing about living in a small town.
Yeah, well, when I had the hardware store in the village, and Arnold Allen had this grocery store across the street, we each had keys to the other store. I could go in on a Sunday and get a steak out of the cooler or something, just make a note, and Arnold, I bought such and such, I'll be in Monday to pay for it. That was the way we used to do business. I'd go down to George Roberts' gas station, the muffler's falling off, he'd put some wire on it and tie it up for me. He said, "You'll be all right, Bill, keep going."
Well, the sad thing is now, I don't know the people in the village like we used to. And
when I was a kid, as a paper boy, knew all of them. But I can tell you who lived in all those houses, McIntosh and Jepson and the different ones that lived in the houses in Barneveld when I was a kid. But I've lost track of a lot of them. Of course, growing old and not having kids in school, you lose track of them. But, so we've just had a wonderful time in Barneveld. People have been good to us. We've enjoyed it. We tried to give back. So, off we are.